I wonder how you both go with, the hustle of the work that you do, the same work that I do, and then also just like letting go, which is a big part of manifestation too, putting action in, but then also just releasing.
The way I look at it is like I think people burn out and they feel it's a hustle and they feel it's work because that's what they've made it. But for me, this is like I always say like this is just the hobby and the sport I've chosen to play. And to me, it feels like that. Like like if I was an athlete and the thing I enjoy doing, I like this is the great puzzle that I'm trying to figure out in life. Some people want to play board games or video. Like this is my game. And so it doesn't feel like I'm ever burning out or hustling. It just feels like I'm like playing the game. And I think like that perspective is helpful in order to get through the stuff that comes with, running a business or being an entrepreneur. Is like, yes, there's hard work and yes, there's tough days. And yes, there's some days where you're not going to solve the puzzle and some days where it's going to completely fall apart on you and you have to put it back together. But I like that. I find enjoyment in it.
And for you, Lauren?
I think that I approach my career as an athlete, and I've talked about this on our podcast. It's like I look at it like I am a marathon runner and I need the fuel and to do the tools to perform as effectively and efficiently as I want to perform. And I know that I can't show up and talk on a mic and be my best for 6 hours if I'm not doing those things. So I approach each day really padded with a lot of self-care or wellness, or I really make it a point to squeeze it in my day. And that also includes like making time with my kids, making time with my husband, having breakfast with my kids, going to the gym. I just really make sure that my calendar is reflecting not just my work, but also my self-care and wellness. And I really pay attention to that. For instance, I know when I go on a trip for 2 weeks for work, I don't want to do anything for the next 2 days after that. I will pad that. I will make sure that there's space for me to unwind, unpack, so I can then be prepared for the next 10 podcasts. If we're going to LA for 2 weeks and we have 20 podcast guests, the week before, I will take a step back and I'll create a lot of thinking time or walking or cold plunging or sauning. I really make sure that the flow of my work is conductive to making me show up really, really effectively.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what we do as the game we're playing, we don't start playing the game until all the other bases are set. Like, we take care of our health and well-being, we take care of our kids, we take care of our marriage. Then the other stuff kind of fits into that. I think we did an episode on this, or I did, about how people get priorities backwards. And typically, you see people that burn out. It's like they put their career first, and they put their kids second, they put their spouse third, and they put their mental well-being fourth, and their physical well-being fifth. And like I think that order should be reversed. Like your physical health should come first because that's going to help your mental health, and that should come second, your mental health. And then I think your spouse should come before your kids because a solid foundation and a good marriage is going to create a healthier household. Then your kids, and then the career should come last. And funny enough, if you do that in that order, the stuff in the career will accelerate and get better because you'll be in a better, faster, more well-equipped place.
I wonder, especially for you, Lauren and Michael, you've got a big presence on social media. And, a lot of your brand at the start was built from that presence. How do you manage that? And then how do you manage stepping back from that, that your whole life is not consumed by, posting things or writing back to people? How do you work out that time?
I have crazy, very purposeful boundaries around my phone. I really take it seriously because I know if I don't have those boundaries that will eat you, and it really will eat you. I see it even around me. People, they're just glued to the phone. I don't want to show up like that for my kids. I have no phone zones in the house. I do not bring my phone to bed. It's on airplane mode at 7:30. To be honest with you, I've now associated my phone with work. So I don't even want to look at my phone if I'm not working. I don't want to look at it. I'm to the point where I don't even want to scroll on it. I mute a bunch of Instagram stories. I actually have a rule that I don't even watch Instagram stories unless it's my husband or my sister. Like that's it. So I'm not consuming anyone's content like that. The content that I do want to consume is starred. So if I look on my feed, it's only like Robert Greene, Louise Hay, wellness, Dr. James. Like it's just things that are going to move me forward.
Mm.
For TikTok, I've noticed that when I get on that app, for me, it's just like low vibration. So when
Yeah.
I'm on there, I want to be posting and I want to get off. I really, really have thought about these boundaries. I don't like to touch my phone until a certain time in the morning unless it's to meditate or consume something that's educational. I don't want my phone to be a main character in my life. And since I do work on it, it's this really careful finesse and dance. But I think the way to work with it is just to really look at how you're actually using your phone and be aware of it. So if you're picking up your phone all the time, and if you have to take your phone to the bathroom all the time, like I just really look at my behavior around the phone.
Mm.
And I also think just like how I post is as much as I'm present, I'm also absent. I think I'm a big believer in commercial breaks. Like I don't want to shove things down my audience's throat 7 days a week. I don't want to like oversaturate it. So I'm really, really about absence. And I've been talking about this a lot. I think it's really healthy if you're a creator to have those breaks so you can slow down to speed up.
I also think like one thing I will add is Lauren and I, not to date us too much, but we have some age in the space and we've been in this world for a while. And what I always tell people is like, we're normal people who happen to create things online that has maybe a greater visibility than some others, but it's just we're normal people at the end of the day. And I think where creators or people that to start to develop platforms get in trouble is they start to read their own press clippings and start to think that they're more unique or more special than everybody else. And like the way I look at it is like at the end of the day, we go back with our kids. We work like this happens to be a job that people see, but we humble ourselves in the sense of like we never start to believe the hype or like any kind of press that it's just we step back from that and realize like that is not reality. Like the reality is in the world that we've created in our family and our everyday lives and with our close friends and family. And so I think like that perspective and not getting caught up in that whole world and that whole kind of like self-importance is important.
Also, us moving out of LA was really, I think, beneficial for our goals because this has just become a place of no distraction. Like we're here to work, we're here to be with our kids, we're here to work out, we're here to be well. It's like a sanctuary. And then we can sort of use LA and New York how it needs to be used and then come back and just be normal people with our kids. And that's really important to us.
Yeah, like I feel terrible when I see young creators go viral because it creates this sense of a false reality that may not be sustainable for long periods of time. So you get this huge high and this big rush right away. And then nobody tells you what it's like if you don't sustain that and you don't keep that growth and then you fall down. And so like I think like we've been like back to my point, we've been doing this for so long at such a slow, steady pace that it just feels like a normal, like, hey, this is just the occupation we chose. It's
Yeah.
never felt like this thing that's just, there's never like an aha moment, like, whoa, does that make sense?
Like
Yeah.
a lot of our friends are the same friends we've had, since we were 12 or 21. Like I think it's really important when you are in a space like this to really be thoughtful of who you're surrounding yourself with. It's like we're with our family a lot. Like it's just I think that element to me, I'm a Gemini, is really important, and I get fuel from that.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes we get some guests that are have prominent names on the show, and we are like still like pinch me just as excited, like can't believe that these people are talking to us moments. You know what I mean? There's never been like, oh, like there's something special. It's just like we are still just as shocked that they're talking to us as maybe some other people are.